everyone, my name is Chantel, and for this Riviera-PRO video, I'll be going over the dependencies graph. When it comes to FPGA design projects, especially bigger and more complex ones, there will be dependencies amongst the variety of modules, whether that's the test bench for the top-level design and its components, or even a subcomponent and its components within the top-level design. Not having these specified can lead to issues with compilation. The Riviera-PRO GUI already allows you to specify these dependencies by right-clicking the design or file and selecting the dependencies option. However, if a workspace for your project contains multiple designs and a multitude of files where dependencies are all over the place, it can be difficult to keep track of establishing all the dependencies and get a clear overall perspective on them. And as a design gets more complex, establishing dependencies can get more confusing or tedious. So that's where the dependencies graph comes in. This is a tool that presents the dependencies between HDL sources in a graphical form. And in this graph, you can even modify these relations. With this tool, you'll be able to get a clear visual perspective of the dependencies while having the ability to fine-tune and track them. And just as a heads up, this tool is usable only in the GUI of Riviera-PRO, since this does deal with the workspace. So for this video, to fully demonstrate the capabilities of the dependencies graph, I have this example called Audio System loaded up in the Riviera-PRO workspace. As you can see, this example contains 9 different designs, and as you may expect, there are dependencies between them. For example, if I right-click on Dual FFT and go to its Dependencies window, I can see that this design depends on the design's FFT16 core and modulus, while the grayed-out designs, System and Test, are both dependent on Dual FFT. And going into FFT16 core, let's say I right-click on Address Generator and go to its dependencies. You'll see that it's only dependent on counter and FFT16 components, while the grayed-out files, bitrev buffer, double buffer delay, and FFT16 all depend on it. Now just take a look at the list of sources just for this design alone. You can already imagine how tedious it'd be to go through each file and set the dependencies using the dependencies window you just saw. So instead of that, let's use the dependencies graph. To access this graph, head over to the Design Manager and click on this icon here. Recall that this example design has already established the dependencies amongst the files and designs, so you can see how everything is related. This graph window does come with viewing basics such as zooming in, zooming out, zooming to fit, resetting to zoom, and the option to change to panning mode. Now onto the graph itself. To start, you'll notice the arrows. The direction of the arrows indicate the flow of the dependency. The starting point is the dependent file or design, and the end of the arrow is the file or design that it is dependent on. Like I mentioned earlier when showing the dependencies window, see how Dual FFT has arrows going into FFT16 core and modulus, indicating that it is dependent on these two designs. Without clicking on anything, all the boxes containing the design names are in these yellow boxes. These yellow boxes also indicate whenever a design does not have a relation to a selected design. The selected design or file will be highlighted blue, like when I click on System or Top VHD. You can even double-click on a source, and the source file will open for you to see. Notice when I click on Dual FFT that some more boxes change colors. The orange arrows leading to the orange boxes denote a branch consisting of items that the selected item is dependent on. The green arrow and boxes preceding the selected item denote a branch dependent on it. So for Dual FFT in particular, it is dependent on these two orange highlighted designs. And that is because if I click into Dual FFT.VHD, components FFT16 and modulus are used. Going back to the graph, notice the design that is dependent on Dual FFT is System, as well as Test, as it's the highest level in the project hierarchy. See how inside of top VHD, that Dual FFT is declared as a component. If I expand FFT16 core, you'll see all those design files and their dependencies fill up the whole screen. But the graph window also does come with a magnifier, where it'll magnify wherever your mouse is on the graph, and you can even select the item you're hovering over. So now that we've gone over how to visually read the graph, let me quickly demonstrate how to edit the dependencies between files or designs. You can delete these dependencies by deleting the arrows that associate them. Just select an arrow, right-click, then click Delete. To create the dependency, it's as simple as clicking on a design or file and dragging over to the design or file it is dependent on. So I deleted System's dependency on the design amplifier, so now I'm going to reestablish it. And there you have it. Now with our dependencies set, I'm going to try and compile the workspace. But first, I'll attempt to compile it without one of the dependencies. I'll use amplifier again for this case, and delete the arrow creating the relation. Now to compile the workspace, I can compile it from here within the dependencies graph by right-clicking over the design and selecting either Compile with Referred or Compile with Dependent. Compiling with referred means to compile the selected design and the branches of items that the selected item is dependent on. Compiling with dependent is to compile the selected item and the items dependent on it. Since I'm trying to compile the highest level design, which is test, I can see that no designs are dependent on it. So I'm going to click on Compile with Referred. After doing that, it looks like I end up with a compile failure because the identifier dual amp is unknown. And that is expected because that module is in the amplifier design, and I removed that dependency. Now let me restore the dependency. Let me empty the libraries to start over. And let's compile test with referred once again. And now, since I've added back the dependency, the whole example compiled successfully. Now I'll go ahead and run the simulation. And we have successfully reached the end of the simulation. And that also concludes this video on the dependencies graph. You've seen firsthand how a big project like this audio system, with all its designs and files, can be a hassle to work with when establishing dependencies in order to compile correctly with only the Dependencies window. But with the Dependencies Graph, you have a clear visual way of viewing and fine-tuning your dependencies, no matter the size of the project. Thank you for watching.